And then we'll, you can augment your speech with your presentation.
Okay.
Present to you House Bill 885, Haley's Hope Act. We need access to this medical cannabis for Georgia families. That's the reason for HB 885. We as a chamber are committed to finding solutions for Georgia families, not putting up further obstacles to block the path. I bring before you for the last time a shot at giving hope to families here in Georgia. Folks, this would provide parents or an individual who has obtained cannabidiol legally in another state with protection from arrest and prosecution for possession while in Georgia. To my colleagues in the Senate, if they can hear me, I beg you to have compassion and courage to do what this body has already done twice and vote for this bill, vote for these families. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the way.
We have the ability to look at the states around us and across the United States and determine what's worked and what hasn't worked.
Most of these children have been having seizures for an extended period of time, and every time they have a seizure, it does a little more damage to their brain. And so that's why the sense of urgency was there, that we need to do something now. I literally went on the Senate floor and begged the Lieutenant Governor. I begged this particular senator who had held it hostage, and they refused. Now, I think in hindsight, most folks realize that that was a big mistake, and that should have never happened.
This is not the legalization of a recreational drug. This is a new form of medicine. We have to do something that doesn't turn our law-abiding citizens into criminals. And if they came back to Georgia and we don't have a law that addresses the need, that's what we're going to do. These are not criminals. These are families that have nowhere else to go. These are families that need medicine for their children. Plain and simple.
Oh, that is great stuff. Oh, that's great stuff. That's a great surprise.
Yes.
I was not expecting that. I got chills just remembering it. 4 years ago, January of 2014, I got an email from a mom in my district. Her name was Janaea Cox, with a very simple message. Please help my family. And I emailed her back and said, well, tell me how can I help? She began to tell me the story of her daughter Haley. She was having 100 to 200 seizures a day. The family was looking at moving to Colorado. Janaea and Haley were looking at moving to Colorado where medical cannabis oil was legal, because it wasn't legal here in Georgia at the time. There was evidence that medical cannabis oil was having some significant impact on reducing seizures for kids. And so she was looking at taking her daughter, special needs kid, to Colorado, leaving the husband at home, traveling 1,800 miles away from their, moving away from their support network, moving away from their church, moving away from everything they knew, because it wasn't legal to have medical cannabis oil here in Georgia. And so the more I learned her story, I thought, gosh, this is something I need to check out. And then about 3 or 4 days later, I went and met little Haley Cox. 4-year-old little girl. She was on her deathbed in ICU at Eggleston. And when I don't want to sensationalize it or spiritualize it, but when I met little Haley Cox in the ICU at Eggleston Hospital, who looked just like my little 4-year-old granddaughter. I had to ask the question that all of us have to ask. What would I do if this was my child? And I realized then that I was going to do whatever it took, whatever political capital I had to use, whatever political capital it cost me, to try and pass legislation that would allow Georgia citizens to have the legal right to possess medical cannabis oil here in Georgia. And that started us on a journey of that eventually resulted in Haley's Hope Act being signed by the governor on April 16, 2015. And that allowed 8 medical conditions, Georgia's with 8 medical conditions, if they're properly registered with the state, to have legal access and legal possession of medical cannabis oil. Since during that first 2 years, I think we had, you guys can have the numbers, y'all know better than we do, better than I do, almost 1,500 people signed up during that 2-year period. Very successful program, and we continue to advocate to add more conditions because we continue to be approached by different folks across the state to add my condition. I have ALS, I have autism, I have peripheral neuropathy, and so that resulted in this past session adding 6 more conditions: autism, Alzheimer's, AIDS, epidermolysis, peripheral neuropathy, and Tourette syndrome, as well as allowing those who are in hospice care to be eligible to receive the card. So why have I become so passionate about this issue? One, because of a little girl named Haley Cox, who now, 4 years later, she still suffers from seizures. She'll never be healed, but her life is significantly better. This week, what's today? Today's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still on vacation mode. I'm actually on vacation right now. My family's just beach waiting for me. On Monday or Tuesday this week, we actually had a dedication at their new home of a therapy room for little Haley Cox because she's improved so much. And so 4 years later, I'm seeing the benefit of passing Haley's Hope Act in one little girl. But the reality is, I was chatting with Yocasta and Mercedes about this earlier, the folks who are making it happen. The reality is, every single day, I get an email or a phone call from a parent, a family member, a citizen of our state going, "Thank you so much for passing this law. Thank you so much for allowing me to have the right to legally possess medical cannabis oil. It has made an incredible difference in the quality of life for me, for my loved one, my family." It is making a difference, folks. And in fact, I'd love to hear, some of y'all's stories. Maybe you'll met some of the folks who have come and gotten the low THC oil card. That picture I showed you of Jennifer Conforti, of her holding her card. I get pictures like that almost weekly. I've got my card. I see it on social media. I see it on Facebook. I've got my card. This means an incredible amount to so many people across our state. Now we've added autism and peripheral neuropathy. I think you'll see an increase related to, they've even seen the notch up of folks who are now interested in obtaining the card because they meet the qualification for autism or peripheral neuropathy. So I think we can continue to see an increase on that. Where do we go from here? I'm going to continue to push for the next step in the medical cannabis program. Now we allow the right to legally possess medical cannabis oil to those who are properly registered with the state. But as many of you are probably getting questions, I get the same question. Okay, now that I have my card, what do I do now? And I'm going to tell you today, and I realize you probably can't, well, I guess I should ask that, you're welcome to direct folks to me. You can go to Facebook, you can go to the state website, and if they need help or assistance of where they're planting the oil, I'll help them. Now, again, you may not be able to do that, and I understand that. So, but
We can't, but you can.
right. And so, and I've been very vocal in trying to get out publicly on social media and other news networks to say, hey, folks need help, contact them, and we'll help them. The reality is what we're doing is we are, when someone comes to us and says, hey, I'm properly registered with the state, what I do now, we are connecting them with manufacturers who provide the product. I have no financial investment in any of the businesses. I never will. I will never profit any from this. But it gives them options of who they may want to potentially get the product from. For those that need financial assistance to be able to get the product, we've figured out a mechanism, a process where we can provide the product to individuals for free. And so they give you that all the information to know that we would not just pass a law that allows you to give a card and make people feel good. We've taken the next step outside of the government interaction to be able to help those that now have the legal right to possess the product. Where to go from here? I still hope that we will eventually have in our state a cultivation program where we grant the right to manufacture, to grow, process, and distribute medical cannabis oil to Georgia citizens who are properly registered with the state. 29 states in our country now have that process and that program in place. We have met some real resistance from my colleagues, and the governor's had hesitation about it as well too. He's been very public about allowing that cultivation of marijuana for medicinal purposes at this time. So I don't foresee that that's probably going to happen anytime in the next year. I am hoping that it will be a significant issue in the governor's race in 2018. And that whoever's going to be governor in 2018 is going to say, here's how they plan to deal with this issue. And so that's where we are. And my message to you, I guess, is just very simply this. What you're doing and the card you are providing and the impact you're having for individuals that come to your individual county to pick up that card is in some cases life-changing. Now, I'm a politician. I know people say that all the time. You grandstand. The reality is that is the truth. Because many of you are seeing it and have heard it and seen it. I see it every single day. I know Costa and Mercedes are here in the stores as well too. And so I want to thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for taking a personal interest in making sure these folks get their card as quickly as possible. Thank you for taking a little extra effort to make it personal for those that it means so much for. And want to thank you for the work that you're doing. So I'll answer any questions, Donna. I don't think if there are some or.
I actually have a question, if it's okay.
Yeah.
I know some of the causes or the reasons why they can get fined. But one of the things that I'm curious about is why would cancer patients or some of the actual really diseases or conditions, why is it in stage?
Yeah.
I mean, why not have them when they have a more of a lifespan? I had a gentleman who in July, when the program first started a couple of years ago, I talked with him throughout the month of July, finally got him registered, had him helped, he came and got the card, and he died in October of that year. So why not do it for some of the conditions further along than stage?
That's really a question. What county are you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're down my home there. Hope you eat at Cheddar's all the time, a restaurant. Oh, we're going to or Mazzoli's. Okay, all right, good. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, well, we didn't talk about that. It's a very good question. We attempted this past year to eliminate the in-stage or severe qualifier completely from all conditions. And for whatever there is, and we met the hesitations in the Senate, quite frankly, before we met the hesitation, that there is still a fear that what we are doing is leading us to recreational use of marijuana among many of our colleagues. And so their hesitation to remove the severe end stage is based in that fear. And so in my job, in an effort to get a bill passed that would at least add conditions and keep moving the ball forward, sometimes I have to compromise with those who have power, more power than I do, and in particular. And so that was the compromise. We begged my Senate colleagues to take that off again this year, and they did. You know, it's interesting, you know, maybe taking further than what your question was, but what I've seen with my colleagues, other legislators, is that when they have someone that is personally affected and is benefited from the medical cannabis oil, they finally get it. When they hear a story like yours, you know, the gentleman who tried and tried and tried, but then died a month later, 2 months later. Well, why couldn't he have built his life, his end of life, be that much better? You know? Or well, why are we prohibiting folks from having a better quality of life before they reach the end stage? And so, so that's kind of the history of why that's there. The reality is that qualifier, whether it's end stage or severe, is at the discretion of the physician. And so we felt like we left a little bit of wiggle room so that physicians could make that determination as well too. But eventually we'd like to get to where we eliminate that qualifier. Have y'all heard the stories? Are y'all having an impact? Are y'all?
I would say, coming out of the cannabis card have made me grateful for life every day because speaking with the people with these conditions, they're in pain all the time. But one of the things that one of the greatest stories that I could say that I faced lately was a young lady, she was a caregiver for her mom. And she couldn't get her mom out of the bed to come to receive the card because her mom's name was on the card. And so I called her and she came into the office. She said, well, Ms. Brown, I think mom have enough energy to come into the office today. So they came into the office and because you see these people, you want to go out and just give them a hug because they've made it. And so I walked out unnormally, you know, and I hugged her, and she hugged me back so tight, and gave her the card, and I called back, and she said, Ms. Brown, I just want to let you know that hug, I hadn't had a hug in so long like that hug. Your words of encouragement, it just let me know that I can go on. You know, I spoke with her and talked with her, but just the thought of the things that they face every day. But the thing that I was asking, Mr. P, is that the caregiver sometimes is the patient, and the patient has to come in to receive the card. Is there a way that if their daughter or the person that's taking care of them can come in and receive the card for the patient because the patient can't come? I've called and sometimes they say, well, this person is bedridden, so they can't come in. So therefore, there's a limit of time, or there's a slow up on them receiving the card. That's one question. Another question is, if the caregiver has to be on a card and they're bedridden, do you see somewhere down the line that the card can be mobile to them because they can't make it in? So
That's okay. To answer the first question, I don't think in the law. I think that's probably based on the rules and regulations.
It's on our site, and Sheila's going to answer that for you.
Yes.
Yeah, what we've done was to make sure that we were giving the cards to the right person, so we required them to come in. We've had about, I think, 3 or 4 situations since the program started in 2015, where we were told that the individuals could not come in. So we've been lenient to allow other family members who can validate that they are related directly, especially other family members who are in the home with the individual, to come in and pick up the card for them. So we don't get a lot of those. Don't want to make it a general rule that we put in writing, but for the 2 or 3 or 4 situations that we face like that, we do want to have just enough flexibility to make sure that the person can get the card, because ultimately it's the treatment that we want to ensure that they're receiving to ease that condition.
So if they come in with that individual's ID, I should be able to distribute that card to that, okay, I think that's good.
And they probably have to have proof of address too, wouldn't they?
Proof of address is helpful.
Thanks for sharing that story. That's,
Yeah, it's so many.
for the road, at least the road, I mean, really, that's, what can you,
I'm DeKalb County.
okay, yes, you run the heart of, and serve a lot of folks too, so.
We are now, it's open up to many other conditions.
Yeah.
We are.
And I just wanted to add on, when something like that happens, what you do also, you can have the patient or caregiver contact the doctor so that a second person can be listed as a caregiver because that person is better. Normally that's what happens, so that's why we only have 4 or 5 cases of that since the program started.
All right, any questions, or I'll get out of here.
I just want to say, considering what's going on in politics, I just want to applaud you for what you do for your constituents and everybody else.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's always nice to get some information. I could have done it with the dogs on my back, so thank you for that. This is, I'm a politician. People are cynical about stuff I say, I get that. But I can tell you, the encounter I had with Lord Haley College 4 years ago changed the trajectory of my political life and changed the course and direction of my life. But my wife and I, if you saw her in one of the pictures in there, feels just as passionate about this as I do. This has become a mission for us. And I've gotten to the point that if I'm crossing that line to where I'm potentially at a risk of getting arrested in order to get medicine and medical cannabis oil to individuals that are properly registered with the state, I'm going to risk that. I've gotten to that point. And I fully realize I'm never going to be governor. I'm never going to be a U.S. senator. I'm never going to be. I've missed my chance for that. For some of us, myself, on self-inflicted issues. But this has become my mission from a political standpoint, from a life standpoint. And it's become that important to me. Because I've seen that difference in the impact of the quality of life. Thousands of Georgians over there. Okay, I'll wrap up by making one final comment, and I'll get out of the old work. I cannot thank the leadership of DPH enough. I've been around in government for 11 years. I know that when we write a law, sometimes the way it translates out into the real world depends on y'all. I get that. I know that. And in most cases, it depends on a Donna Moore or a Linda Fitzgerald. Do they buy into that this is an issue that's important or not? Do they buy into that this is this is another government program some politician is trying to make a name out of? Well, to you and to Sheila, where's Sheila? Thank you. And this, this worked because starting with Brenda, who I know too, got it, and with you, and you, the first time we met 2 years ago, I knew and understood that you guys got it. And so thank you for making this work. Thank you for making it a successful program. And the Constant, Mercedes, thank y'all for printing them cards out as fast as you can. That's good stuff. So thank y'all. It's a pleasure to be here. And y'all go eat at Cheddar's and Sullivan, you know, and Macon all across the state.
Wow, that was great. Good stuff, brother. Give send them, let's send them people that Okay. Well, without further ado, what we'll do right now is we'll take a little 5-minute stretch. We want to get some refreshments, and then we'll jump right back into the actual training here, so that we can kind of stay on schedule and try and get you guys out of here and get you out on a tour of the building and stuff like that. Okay? All right, so take about 5 minutes. If you got to go to the ladies' room, again, the ladies' room is right here on this side of this building, and then around the other side is the men's room. Old law conditions. As you know, these are the old law conditions: Crohn's disease, cancer, mitochondrial disease, Parkinson's disease, sickle cell disease, seizures, MS, or multiple sclerosis, and ALS. The new conditions that were added are now autism, Tourette syndrome, epidermolysis bullosa, which is a skin condition that Representative Keith talked about with that little child. It's a very painful skin disease. I had to look it up myself because I wanted to see exactly what it was. Alzheimer's disease, peripheral neuropathy. You have a lot of folks that have peripheral neuropathy here in the state. That's a sign, or that's an actual condition that's secondary to diabetes. So if you have a lot of diabetic patients, they'll have that peripheral neuropathy. So if their doctor is actually an advocate for the low THC oil, then we may get an increase as far as folks in the actual realm of diabetes or peripheral neuropathy actually being put on this as well. AIDS patients as well, and hospice patients. Now, something about that hospice patients that I wanted to talk to you about. Hospice patients, they don't have to, they can be added to the list, and they don't have to have one of those specific conditions. As long as they're in a hospice facility or under hospice care, that's inpatient or outpatient, they can be added to the registry without having one of those specific conditions that the law states. Okay, physician registers the patient and caregiver into the registry as needing a low THC oil card. Now, within 72 hours, the state office is of being added to the registry. The state office, that's Mercedes and Costa, they are making contact with these folks. And once they make contact with these folks, they're verifying all of that information that was put in by the physician to ensure that they know where they can pick the card up. If they want to come here to the state office, they can come here to the state office, or we'll send it to one of you guys. And that's when we actually send you the cards out. So we've already told them that they are going to be contacted by you once we contacted them to pick up that card. Okay, when the caregiver designates a pickup location, the card is held for pickup if they want to come here, or it's mailed to that county office and we send it to you by UPS. Is anyone having problems getting the cards when we mail them to you? You are. And is that because of an address issue?
Our mail is crowded. You know, everybody wants to touch it, so it goes to one department before it actually comes to us. And we found that it's taken sometimes a week or so for them to distribute what was sent for overnight.
So is there a workaround for that?
They're working around that issue now. We addressed it this week.
Did you find those cards that issue that? You still haven't found those
There's
cards?
still 2 cards that they have not delivered.
Okay, after we finish, I wanted to talk to you about that because I have a couple solutions for that. Right. Yes, because if we're addressing it directly to you, no one else should open that package. That's one thing that that we're a stickler here about. We want to make sure that you are the only person that's holding that package. Okay? So if those cards are missing, I've got a solution for it. I'll talk to you about it offline, okay? All right. The card is currently valid for 2 years, okay? So that's 2 years from the date of issue, okay? All right? And the renewal process is so much easier for the physicians now, and I'll let Alex talk to you about that when he comes up later on about the renewal process, okay? The card should not be altered, okay? But they can laminate the card. We have some issues with the cards, the information rubbing off the card. So lamination of the card is okay. That's fine, okay? The card is only valid within the state of Georgia. That's what I'm saying because I don't know whether other states have a restitution proxy with that card. Now, here in the state of Georgia, with the legislation that was just passed, if someone comes into this state from another state with a card, that card is valid for 45 days. 45 days. They're free from prosecution as long as the actual oil that they're carrying has the same consistency with the state laws of Georgia. That's the 5.5% THC cannabinol mix. Okay, physicians used to be required to do a quarterly report on their patients or caregivers. New legislation has changed this to semi-annual, so they only have to do it twice now. Cards still valid for 2 years under the renewal process, and as I stated before, out-of-state cards are good for 45 days in Georgia as long as the oil in the person's possession meets the law standards for the THC cannabinol mix here in the state of Georgia. Okay. Let's not forget the driving force behind this legislation. It was initially called the Haley's Hope Act, allowing patients and caregivers to possess and administer low THC oil to ailing patients in the state without fear of prosecution. So that's what we're actually doing. We're trying to keep people from being prosecuted for being in possession of this oil. And Representative Pete could have said it better himself. The work that we do, the work that you guys do, it's helping so many folks out there in Georgia that it's God's work that we do. Okay, low THC oil programs not to do this. And I'm not slapping you with. Okay. I'm just going to give you some insight on some things that, you know, we're coming across pretty frequently, and we just want to make sure everybody, again, is on the same sheet of music when it comes to the distribution of these cards and the protection of the actual caregivers and patients' information and conditions. Okay. Do not disclose information, address questions or concerns with anyone who is not a part of the low THC oil program center. Now, if you look in your packets, each one of you has a listing of all of the counties that actually have the ability to distribute those cards. You can contact them, talk to each other if you have questions. You also have in your packet an actual listing of the low THC program oil personnel here in the state office. That's Costa, Mercedes, myself, and Ms. Pierce. Okay? Feel free to contact me anytime. Okay? If you email me and I don't email you right back right away, I will get to it because I carry my email with me. Okay? So if it's an urgent need and you need it right away, contact Mercedes or contact Nadia Costa. One of them is always in the office. Okay? Please remember this program is of a sensitive nature and we want to continue to be as discreet as possible. If you have any questions, again, contact Mercedes, Costa, or like I said, myself. I'm always available. Okay, do not shred the cards. You brought me a lot of cards, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to look at those cards once we finish here today, and we're going to see what we can do to try either one, reissue those cards, or we'll just actually go ahead and get rid of those cards. But once we look at it, we'll make a decision on it. Okay? All right. Only shred cards after you have spoken to a low THC representative, that is Mercedes or your pastor, and they have obtained the name of the caregiver and the number on the back of the card. This is important now because before we made some changes to the actual registry that Alex is going to talk about, we did not scan the cards, but now we're scanning those cards. So that number on the back of the card is actually being tied to the actual caregiver or the patient now in the system, and it wasn't being done before. Okay? Cards which have been in your possession for more than 6 months, and you haven't been able to contact the caregiver, or the caregiver has failed to maintain an appointment or appointments for pickup, please contact the low THC staff at the state office for special instructions pertaining to these cards. If after 30 days you haven't gotten someone to come and pick up that card, give us a call. Don't wait 6 months, okay? Don't let 6 months until those cards build up on you, okay? And the reason that I'm saying that is because before we send you the card, we have made contact with them, and we have told them that within 5 to 7 business days, you will be contacted by the local office to come and pick those cards up, okay? It is extremely important for these cards to be distributed within 5 to 7 days because we want to get it into the hands of the people that need it. When your office receives them, the caregiver has already been given that actual timeline of 5 to 7 business days for pickup. So it's extremely important that as soon as you get those cards, give those people a call, and get them out to your office, and get those cards into their hands. Okay? Now, if you're going to be out of the office, this happened yesterday. One of the folks said that they were going to be out of the office from 10 July to 14 July. They sent us an email. We got the email. We're now going to block them as far as sending cards to them for that time period. But once they get back into the office after the 14th, we'll resume sending cards to them. It's important that we know that because we don't want to send that card out there and they're not there to get it, and it gets shuffled around and then gets lost, or gets shuffled around and the patient doesn't get it in a timely manner, or the caregiver doesn't get it in a timely manner. Okay, do not assign a staff member, okay? A lot of folks were saying that they have someone that helps them with these cards. As we stated before, this program is extremely confidential. And we need to be maintain it that way for the sake of the constituents. When the program started back in 2015, there were only 17 county locations that were assigned, and 18 including the state office. The state office has the low THC representatives that verify, print, and issue the cards. The county offices only have one assigned or designated registrar responsible for opening those mail, and distributing or issuing those cards. Okay, and that's you folks who are sitting right around this table right here. Okay, that's how we want to keep the confidentiality of the patient's chest pain.
When we had the last meeting, it was stated that we opened the mail, but at the same point in time, the distributing of the cards could come from other staff, only because if that registrar is not there and that individual come in, then the person at the front counter could check it out. So now it's a change in that, right?
The change is we want to make sure that the confidentiality of the caregiver and the patient is maintained. That's our biggest thing. And the confidence was placed in each one of you to be the distributor of those cards. If you have staff members that are helping you to distribute those cards, I don't want to know.
Not helping you distribute, but cash that person out. I'm there.
Okay, as long as you're passing the card and if they're taking the cash, I think that's fine.
Right.
I think that's fine. But like I said, the big thing is we want to try and maintain the confidentiality of the program. Okay? Because, yes, ma'am,
So
of
are you
course.
referring to the actual contact information when placing the phone call? That's the information you're trying to remain
Yes, ma'am.
confidential?
Yes, ma'am.
Not necessarily
Yes, ma'am.
handing the card and
Well,
collecting.
see, here's the thing, you also want to brief your staff, if they're going to be interacting in there, this is not something that they should be going out and talking about. Or this is not something that they should be sharing with someone else. Okay? Because if they share this information with someone and it puts that person in a bind, and guess where it's going to come back to? Yes, ma'am.
One more thing, I'm sorry. So in our building, it's in the vital records department. So you get some patients that come in and they're like, I'm looking for the low THC cannabis card location.
Okay.
So what I have faced is that the staff member will come to me and they'll say, well, I never knew you had this low THC cannabis card. and I'm like, well, it's kind of discreet. So, we're not telling everybody. But, if you hear somebody come in for that, just come into my office and direct them where I am. Like, can you give me some more information about it just in case somebody else come in? Like, no, we're just trying to keep it on the close to the hip. But that's the thing that I'm facing because the people in my building, they're like, well, what if they come in and we don't know where you located or they don't know exactly. But I told the person, come to Vital Records, room 191, but when they step off the elevator, the first thing they say to the first individual they see is, I'm here for the low THC cannabis card.
But that's the patient or the caregiver that's giving out that information or generating that information, not you. You have a question too?
Yes, real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it particularly that we are issuing low THC oil cards or the condition,
No, you're issuing the
that
card.
should be discreet? No,
Yes.
that's what I'm asking.
Well, see, when you go into the registry and you actually go in to say, click, I have issued a card, there's a possibility that you could get information out of that registry that may affect that person.
I mean,
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman that turned the card in because his employer threatened to fire him for using the oil. Okay? But the confidentiality of it is that his employer should never knew that he was using the oil, Okay? So that's what we're saying, of course, trying to be discreet. And you have some religious organizations out there as well. I don't know any of them. I'm not affiliated with them, but they have, agendas against the use of that oil as well. And, you never know what situation you may put a person in by discussing their information with someone else or that information getting out. So it's not that we don't want you to, have assistance with getting the cards out. We just want to try and protect the patient or the caregiver's information as much as possible. You had something to say, Mercedes?
Yeah, it's in reference to pamphlets we'll be giving out soon.
Oh.
That will go to the county, so then if the rest of your staff will know, what to say when it comes to anyone picking up. It's not that we want to keep discreet the program, but the actual patient, caregiver, information, phone number, address, we don't want that. Because we do have people calling us, like I do call center as well, and they call and they're like, well, you have a patient so-and-so, can you verify? No. We don't want to give out that information out. That's what we're trying to keep discreet. The program itself, we're gonna, Mr. Reese and Ms. Sheila and Donna come up with pamphlets that are gonna be going out to the counties, so that the program is out there and people are aware of it.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that. Well, we actually have it completed. We just have to get it blessed off by EPH to actually get it out to you guys. And we're hoping to get that out to you for the next couple of weeks. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Did I answer your question? All right, well, let's move on then. Okay, refrain from suggestions. We talked about this earlier, and we actually had a conversation with Representative Pete with regards to this. we are the issuing organization, and we are unable to provide suggestions or directions on obtaining, purchasing, or possessing the low THC oil. You can't do it. The only thing we can do is issue the card. I had a conversation with Representative Pete Mercedes and Costa earlier, and he was saying that we should maybe direct them to him. I want to stay out of that as well, okay? Because Donna doesn't want us to do it. Ms. Moore doesn't want us to do that at all, okay? So we're only the issuing organization or the agency. They'll have to do the research on their own to try and find out how to get, possess, and purchase that actual oil. Make sense? Right. Any questions of this nature should be answered by caregivers, patients, or caregivers or patient's doctor who registered them into the registry. I'm sure if the doctor registers them into the registry, he may have some insight or information on where they can actually obtain or purchase that actual THC oil. We do not recommend any physicians already in the registry. We've had phone calls, people call up and say, hey, where can I get a doctor? Do you have a listing of the doctors? No, we can't give that information out as well. So the only thing that we can do is direct them to do their research to try and find a doctor or consult with their own personal doctor who may know another one. Okay? So let's refrain from any of those suggestions. Okay? All right. Here's some again. This is an actual information on how this actual process works from start to finish. You got the physician approved in the registry. He enters the patient or caregiver. Notice is sent to us here at the state office. Once we get the notice, within how many hours? 72 hours, we're actually calling that patient or calling that caregiver, trying to set up an actual pickup or preference for pickup. Once that preference for pickup is made, the cards are printed and it's either mailed to you if they're coming to Bibb County, okay? Or if it's going to be picked up here at the local office, we'll just hold the card here until that person comes in. Okay? It's an easy process. Easy process. When you receive the card, here's what you should do. The county office receives the card via UPS. Okay, we get it out to you. As soon as we make contact with the patient or the caregiver, if we make contact with them today, this afternoon, that card is in the mail to you. And we shoot you an email. Hey, your card's on the way. Once you receive it, you should contact that caregiver within 5 to 7 days to try and actually schedule that actual pickup for that card. Okay? Because we want to be expedient with this process, but at the same time, maintaining that confidentiality and getting the card to the actual caregiver where it's needed. Now, the county office explains what is needed for pickup. You let them know. Remember, we talked about the ID issue. In certain instances, we can't actually make that call or make that discretion to go ahead and issue that. But we don't want to practice that. What we want to practice is the correct way of getting that $25 fee. That's nice, right? Valid Georgia ID. Now, there was a question of me one time before. My interpretation of the law at that time was that the person did not need to have a Georgia ID as long as they had a valid ID. That has since been rescinded, okay? They need to make sure that they have a valid Georgia ID. That's showing that they are a resident of the state of Georgia, okay? You have 45 days, well, actually 30 days. It's 30 days when you come to the state of Georgia to change over your driver's license, your car registration, and all of that good stuff if you're actually moving into the state of Georgia. In other instances, for the instance of the actual possession of that low THC card from another state, you got 45 days on that, and it's good here in the state. But in those 45 days, that person needs to go ahead and transition if they're coming into the state or moving into the state. And they need to possess that Georgia ID. And the actual address needs to match what the actual physician has placed into the registry. If, for instance, it doesn't, hey, I just moved, then they need to go back to the doctor, and the doctor can go in to the system and edit that information. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, we was told that they could bring a bill in with, the new address on it. And so I have gotten a higher volume where the numbers now, the addresses now aren't the same on the ID. So I just told them to bring the bill in.
Okay.
So,
Will that work for you, Gene?
We need to get back to you on that.
okay, because the thing is that I think we should, okay.
And the reason we're saying is because, you know, the registrar, Donna, Ms. Moore, she actually tells us what she wants with regards to this. And we have to just push it down to you guys the way it's given to us. This is what I want, and this is how we're going to operate this, because we want to stay consistent
Right.
and in line with the law.
Right, and the thing is that I wouldn't think that if, I'm not understanding how the doctor have one address that they're putting in the system, and then they have another address on their IDs, because the transition of this process is so fast. So with the address not being the same, it just seems like there could be in conflict of interest with that, but anyway.
Let us get back to you with that. We'll do it all offline once we finish with the actual presentation.
Can you let all of us know the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
We do the same thing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I would. Okay. And then the final step in the process, caregiver comes in to pick up, ID verify, collect card number recorded in the system, check pick up a card is issued. Simple process, right? Okay, the renewal process. Patient caregiver contacts their physician. Always stay in contact with their physician. The physician does that semi-annual report on them, so they should be in contact. The actual caregiver or the physician and the caregiver is going to be receiving an email about 8 weeks out. Hey, you got patients in the registry that their card is about to expire. What are you going to do? The actual caregiver will get an email as well. Hey, your card is about to expire. Get in touch with your physician. Once they have made contact with their physician, the physician will go in and electronically renew their card. When that card is renewed, boom, we'll get a shout right here, come through the registry, alerting us that, you know, a patient or caregiver's card has been renewed. We will contact that patient or caregiver and have them establish a pickup location once again, whether it be here at the state office or your office. County office notified of the card being sent. We'll send it out to you. You'll receive that card via UPS. Contact the patient or caregiver. Set up that time for them to come and pick it up. Pretty simple. Okay, some vacuums with the card process. Frequently asked questions. You get them all the time on the phone. I'm sure some of you have some more questions that you want to ask, and I want to give you an opportunity to give me some more questions. And I have my folks in here that can help me with answering those questions. If I can't answer it, we got the deputy in here. She can actually help us answer that question. So when we leave here today, everybody's going to know that they got good information out of here. And it wasn't just a wasted trip up here, right? Okay. How do I know local registrars when cards are being sent to me? What's the answer to that? Simple. Email will be sent prior to the UPS shipment of the cards from the state office. The CASA sends them out daily. I'm CC'd on those emails, so I know those emails are going out. What if I'm out in the office? Send us an email. Let us know when you're going to be out. That is, that Mercedes, the CASA, or myself know. That way, we will suspend sending any cards to you, so those cards are there sitting, waiting for distribution for that patient or caregiver. What happens if the cards are have incorrect information on it? Simple. Notify the state office, that is Mercedes, the CASA, or me. Corrections will be made, and new cards printed and sent to the pickup location. What should be done with the incorrect card? Card number should be recorded along with the patient caregiver information, and incorrect card can be shredded. Make sense? Question? Answer? Yes, ma'am.
And just to add to that, card number is not the actual card number, what's on the back of the card is the actual card.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Yes.
It's now on the front with the renewal process, but it wasn't before. So what's on the back of the card is what we need.
And that's because, remember I told you back, now that we're scanning those cards on the back now, that's the number that's actually being recorded into the system and identified with that actual patient or caregiver. Okay? Questions? Answers? Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions.
Hold on, let me get this mic for you here because we want to make sure that everybody in the room can hear you, to include our folks that are on the actual call.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
First off, the renewal process sheet, I didn't get a copy of that, so I need to get a copy, but
Not a problem.
if they come in for the renewal, because it is going to be a new process for all of us, do we have to collect their old card, or do they just destroy the old card?
That's a good
We need to
question.
collect, and we have to, that the card is collected, they have to surrender it, and then.
You issue a new card.
Okay.
Collect the old card, issue the new card.
And what kind of information is going out to the doctors? Because in the last week, I've had 3 instances where 2 people have come in, they went to talk to their doctor, the doctor's registered, printed out some kind of application, and they were told to bring it to our office. And I've tried to explain that they need to register with you guys. And then the third instance was a lady picked up her card, called me back a couple hours later and said, my doctor said you were supposed to give me some information to go along with it on how I'm supposed to try to find the oil itself, and I explained that I didn't have that. So what are the doctors being told?
Okay. Well, I can tell you from my standpoint, because I've spoken to a few doctors with regards to the program. I direct them to DPH's website and have them to go on. And we just successfully yesterday updated all of the actual FAQs for the doctors, law enforcement, and for actual the general public to view with regards to the whole program itself. Again, we try and stay out of the realm of directing people to doctors or directing patients or caregivers to where they can obtain the product. There's limited information that we can provide to the doctor, okay? But directing them to DPH's website and telling them to go on and look at those FAQs, because those FAQs in there explain a whole lot of stuff in detail, and it has links in there. Once the physician registers and they actually get their email back saying that they're registered and they go in, the process of putting a patient in for a card is pretty simple. It says add new patient. They click on add new patient, and it just goes down the line. All of the new conditions are in there, so all they have to do is go out and check off what condition that the actual patient has, and then once he submits that, then that's when we get that automatic generated, hey, you got a patient that's in the registry that needs a card. And then we contact them. And then that's when we set up, hey, whether or not they want to pick it up here or they want to come to your office and pick up that card. So that's the actual process. And if you actually get someone that comes in and says, hey, my doctor said you were supposed to give me a card, then you tell them, say, hey, well, you need to speak with your doctor to ensure that he's properly registered here in the registry. And then you'll be contacted about the call. Okay. Did I answer all your questions? No. Any other questions?
When they come in to renew their card, what do we do with the old card? We contact y'all?
Just collect the old card, shred it,
Shred it. Okay.
and then issue the new card. Because we've already
Deleted that.
we've already put the new card number and placed it in the system of other patients. So on the caregiver, so go ahead and just shred
What
that
if we
card.
don't have that in their old card?
If they don't have the old card in possession, don't worry about it. It's not going to be down there. Okay. But if you can't, go back to the phone, okay? Yes, ma'am.
It is saying something about recording, incorrect card information or whatever.
The numbers on the back of the card.
Right, so are we supposed to be keeping a log ourselves when we get the cards or just when we mark pickup?
Well, I can tell you this, there's a gentleman that's gonna be coming up here, that's gonna be talking to you about the actual, this is the number on the back of the card. Okay, and this is the barcode that's gonna be scanned. He's gonna be talking to you about that and the actual SIM system that we actually utilize. Because this number is now going to be tied with the actual carrier. So if you want to record it in a separate log, you can. But if you have access to the actual system, when you log into the system, when you pull that person up, that card number will be right there with them. Okay?
Do you log?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have gotten a couple of emails
You need
from
this,
some of you.
you need this.
I have received a couple of emails from some of you about canceling the cars in the system. You have a new feature now that allows us to cancel a car. I was going to say you don't need to worry about canceling in the system. Just record the information on the car and pass it over to us. And if we need to do any changes in the system, we will take care of that. You don't need to worry about canceling anything in the system or doing anything except for just recording the information on the car and passing it over.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be chance that I know when we first started, I received some of the cards that were no fee. Has that changed?
What?
There would be a sticky note on it, and there would be no fee attached.
Yeah, those cards were either cards that had errors on them, and that's why you got sticky, no charge. Or there were the first families who received the cards and were refugee families, so those were the only ones who, like, if you get anyone who has a card that's rubbed off, those cards you can take from them. We'll issue a new card back to your county, and you can shred the other cards. So that's how you get no fees. You know, you get that sticky note that will say no fees.
And one of the updates to the actual system was that whole process of replacing cards. And again, I'll let Alex discuss that with you once he comes up. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, let's recap then for a minute. How long should you hold on to a card before you give us a call if no one is coming to pick it up?
30 days.
Within 30 days. Okay, 30 days. Let's get that call in here to us so we can actually try and locate that patient or caregiver or try and get that card to them. How long should it take from the time you receive the card to you trying to make contact with the patient or the caregiver? 5 to 7 business days. Absolutely. Absolutely. That sounds good. Okay. Do you guys have any questions or any other additional comments that I maybe forgot or overstepped? Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to put Malvina as an example because she communicates a lot with me on email. She gets a good bunch of the cards on a daily basis. So when she gets the cards the next day, she gets on it and she starts calling the caregivers. And if she can't get a hold of somebody for whatever reason, because if you notice on the card, it's only one phone number listed. But on our end, we see 2 phone numbers, we see email, different ways of communication to the caregivers. So if she can't get a hold of that person on that number, she shoots me an email right away, and she's like, do you have any other point of contact for this a particular caregiver, and I do give her, if there is a second number listed different from the one on the card, I give it to her, or an email address, and she gets those cards out like quickly, and I'm like, I want to commend you for that because you do an awesome job. I like the fact that you communicate with us, you know, when you can get a hold of those caregivers, because we call every single one of those cards or those phone numbers listed in the system. We get in touch with all those people before we send the cards out. So they are expecting a phone call within 5 to 7 business days. So it is very important, like if you call that number on the card and you can get a hold of that person, send us an email and we'll get you the right information. We find a way to get a hold of those people on the other number or through email.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Here.
Can I sing? When we contact the person, if it's a voicemail, do we leave a message, and if so, what is the message?
Good question, good question. What you want to do is just identify yourself and give a phone number and ask them to give you a call back. Don't diverge the information of why you're calling them. Don't diverge the information of what you're calling them about. Okay? This is about a low THC card. No. Okay, just your name and your contact information. This is Tanya Ross, Georgia Department of Vital Records. My phone number is, please give me a call back as soon as possible. That makes sense? Because you never know who may be listening in on that voice. Yes, ma'am.
But then when the person does answer, then you can go ahead and go into, when you get the person, the actual person or caregiver, then you go ahead and go in. So sometimes they'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm not interested, and just hang up. We've had that. So you can go ahead and, you know, let them know all the details with them, because we've had some, once you get, you know, they're like, yes, this is her speaking. Okay, well, this is for a reference to the candidate or the low THC. You can go into details, because they will, we've had instances where they hang up on us.
What if it's misspelled or something, and they say, well, she
Leave a message to state that, you know, that you want to call back. Because they'll tell you it may be a spot, but it's really, we can't verify
what if
that.
they're, you know, like she said, incapacitated, and they can't come to the phone or, you know.
When the card is issued to you, these two have already spoken to the person. So we speak directly to them to verify the information before the card is printed and sent to you. So if there appears to be a discrepancy in what you're hearing and your understanding of the process, just pick up the phone and give them a call. I would say that's the first thing. The second is when you leave a message, you know, you may want to specifically state, my name is so-and-so from such and such county, because they've already spoken to the individual, and the individual selected your county. So just saying your county and your name should trigger to them who you are and what you're calling about.
And we do have to remember that these people, some of these people with the conditions, they're ill, and so it takes them a while to like get it together, and they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about, but, you know, just go into details. You call it, you know, the state office called and verified your information, they said this was, and you elected us as a point of pickup. Just a heads up, okay?
Go ahead.
Yes, I have come across instances in which I speak to the caregiver or the patient, and when I tell him low THC, they don't know. I tell him cannabis oil, they don't know. And then I have to say medical marijuana, and then they know. So sometimes you gotta kind of work around, even when you're speaking to them, you gotta be very specific, because when you say cannabis, some of them don't know, or low THC, they don't know. When you say medical marijuana, then they know, and they, oh yes.
One thing I want to comment on that is that Ms. Moore wants us to actually stop using the term cannabis in our presentations and addressing the program. She wants us to use this term right here, low THC oil. Okay? So kind of start putting that in the vocabulary a little bit, THC oil versus cannabis oil. Yes, ma'am.
When the doctors register the caregiver and the information is given to you guys up here, how is the location situation chosen? I mean, as far as the choices, and the reason I ask is I had a lady who had to drive 2 hours to my location to pick up a car, and to me, that was not fair for her.
You're absolutely correct. And to answer that question, what we have tried to do, we've added 2 new counties. We got them on the line, Sumter and Decatur County. And what we're actually doing is I have the project of going in and looking at all of the locations and making sure that there was a pickup point for every constituent in the state of Georgia within a 1-hour drive of their home. Okay? And the adding of Decatur and Sumter counties is going to fulfill that. Okay? What we try to do is we try to get people to a location that's within that hour's drive. That one person that maybe had to drive at 2 hours, I don't know that case specifically, but there may have been an issue like we have one county that we don't have anyone up there right now, but it is a pickup location, and that is Floyd County. Okay, but once we get someone in that Floyd County location, that'll take care of those folks that are within that actual 60-mile or 1-hour drive radius in that part of the state. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all educate the people that use it, like, you can go to this county to pick up your car and let them know that that's what it's called, THC oil?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Every time we talk to someone, we use the term low THC oil, low THC oil.
So when we call, then they'll know what we're talking about.
They should.
Okay.
They should. But like Ms. Cooper said, as soon as we get notified, we call, we make contact, and we explain to them, hey, Vicki Baldrop is going to be your point of contact at the health department when we go down there. And when they ask, you call them when she gets the car, and you leave your name, it's, oh, yeah, Vicki Baldrop, yeah, that's the person I'm supposed to put. I'm sorry, go ahead and pick up my car. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I had a case where you have 2 cars. It could be a husband and a wife, or a caregiver and the patient. Now, I know before that we were able to allow one person to pick up 2 cars as long as they had the other person's ID.
Okay.
So the man was in the office, he wanted to get his wife's car, didn't have his wife's ID. So we'll have her to take a picture on your cell phone. And that's basically like
of the ID.
Of the ID on your cell phone, because it's just like a copy, like if you bring it in a copy of it, but you're doing it in an electronic way.
Okay.
So is that proper? Had another,
Yeah.
that would be fine.
That's fine.
Okay.
Not like getting a birth certificate, that is fine.
Okay, great. Had another incident where the husband's ID, the husband's address was different from the wife's address, or maybe it was a cousin or whatever, I don't know, but they was coming in and getting the THC card, but it was 2. It was the 2 people, because they had the same last name.
And they both had been put in by a physician,
Right.
and both addresses.
One address was different and the other address was different.
Okay,
So
but did
the names, the last names were the same, so.
okay, but did the actual information that was put into the registry as far as the address is concerned match up with both IDs or just one?
It was just the husband had another ID and the wife had another ID. But when I called, he said, oh, well, my wife is getting a card as well, so you should have 2 cards for us. My wife may not be able to make it, but I can make it in today. I said, well, if you have a copy of your wife's ID, then you should be able to get it, because, we was told that the spouse or the other caregiver could pick up another caregiver's card. Now, that could be a conflict because they can be divorced. What do we do in that case?
Subject matter experts over here.
So at that point, we've already verified it, and when we see something like that, we'll ask, oh, your husband has a different address. And she or he will say, well, we haven't updated it, haven't changed it, but we need the card, so we issue it to them, we issue it to you guys so that you can issue it out, as long as it's what's in the ID. And we verify with the caregiver, if it's a spouse, or the patient actually, just to verify that that's who's listed as their caregiver and that they have a different address. So we've already verified it, and so that's really something that you're really, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry you all are having so many problems with the IDs and the addresses, because when we initially set it up, we were trying to handle that with those issues for you in advance, so that when the card goes to you, then all you have to do is look at the card and look at the ID. Remember our little video that we did? Look at the card and look at the ID, collect the $25 and then give the customer the card. So what we're trying to do, since that appears to be a big issue, is work more on that part of it, the process from our end to make sure. But really, the card should reflect the address of the ID that is being presented in order to get the card. Remember, they are asking people in advance about the ID that will be used to pick up the low THC card. And they are saying, if the address is different, let us know. And they have the ability to make some minor changes, adjustments to the record, so that by the time it comes to you, everything should be flushed out. So if the addresses and other information don't match up 100%, you may want to give them a call. Think about that short timeline from the time that they get the name from the doctor, they call the customer, they verify the information, they print the card and send it to you. Much should not have changed, during that short period of time. We're talking 3 to 5, 10 days max. So we'll do a better job or try to screen more on the front end so that is a seamless and easier process for you all issuing those cards. You should give them that low THC card, verify the information on the ID they're presenting to you, collect the $25, shake hands, and it should really be that simple.
Well, something that the states have done a couple of times, she has written a yellow sticky note, have already verified the address with a piece of mail, please issue the cards, which was a very logical thing to do, because then I had no questions about this person coming in with a piece of mail. You got your mail, you got your name on it, bam, you go. So that can be another process that we can go through.
Okay. I will make sure that if there's any questions or any doubts about once they make contact, that they'll continue to put those little sticky notes on there for you. And just, giving you a heads up. Hey, this address is going to be different. Hey, they're going to bring in a piece of mail. So we'll continue to do that, and we'll work more diligently here on our end to make it as seamless and as easy as possible for you guys once you get the cards to issue those cards. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Some of the very first cards, I understand, were issued to the first families or the refugee families for the program.
Yes, ma'am.
They should be due for renewals. So are we to charge them now, or is that gonna change? I mean, for instance, Haley Cox's family should be coming up due for a renewal. So am I to charge them now if they were not in Garden County?
After the 2-year period, they have to pay over again. And that's going to be listed on your card. Now the card is more detailed that we're scanning. And so when we scan it, automatically, if it's a renewal, it automatically say $25 on there again. But Alex, he'll let you know about that when he gets in.
He's coming up in about 5 minutes. What we're going to do is we'll take a short recess and let you guys use the bathrooms if needed, get some water, get some juice, get some more snacks back there, and then we'll get set up on the board here with Alex, and we'll go through the actual register and let you take a look at some of the new changes and how easy it's going to be for all of us to issue these cards out. Okay? Any other questions before we break? None? Okay.
Joe, you're going to be about 10 minutes.
Okay, so about 10 minutes, so about 5 after, we'll get back in and we'll get set up.
Okay, so this time round we'll confirm it. So you can see here that the card is printed. At the back end, we know from the audit log that it was confirmed. Now, if a card was sent out and we needed to cancel it, if I look at cards that are being picked up, so these cards would have left your office. What we can do here is replace a card. And we need to check one of three reasons. Now, if a card is lost or it's destroyed, that would be a I think we were mentioning this earlier, that would be a $25 fee. if it was damaged and that like the print comes off it, that would be a free exchange. And so the next piece of the puzzle is you would receive the cards from the state office, and this is the only menu item you have right now, which is the card pickup. So once a caregiver or patient, well, you know all this, but once they present, they show you the ID, you would mark the card that it was picked up. And we do have a cancel card option here, but Mercedes, do you need me to get rid of that? The cancel option.
I think we should leave it there because I have an instance in which somebody, I had already printed the card and she was going to pick it up at her county, but then she said she was rather came here because she was in the area. So I had to cancel that card and reissue it.
Okay.
So I do need that in here.
Okay. Well, what would happen if you were to cancel? This is the test system. It will just disappear, so you won't see that that caregiver again.
This here is on the vital record side because I know that you guys had changed it. Yes. So you're speaking on your end, you're going to go in and cancel it. So when you go in and cancel it on your end, is it going to drop off on our end? That's what I think that's what you said. Should you cancel it, take the canceling option off?
Both the state and local.
Yeah, might I interject something? You may have an instance where someone wants the card. Mm-hmm. We make all the arrangements, we send you the card.
Right.
Once they get out to you, they have to change their mind, change the card, and they say, hey, you know what? I don't even want this card. I don't want to pay $25, I don't want the card. Yeah. I don't want it to give it to me for free. Okay, so at that point in time, you should email back to Mercedes or your hospital with the information on the card, telling them, explaining to them, hey, this patient or caregiver did not want the card, you can cancel the card, and then that won't be a problem.
Okay. And then when you shred it,
then you can shred the card, yes. But make sure you give them the information back. That makes sense?
So once we cancel it, it will drop off on the state.
So drop off on all of
all
those.
the
Yes,
okay.
all of those.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, I kind of flew through that. Is there anything you wanted me to go back to and show you? As I said, a lot of this is it's the vital records stateside, apart from the physician registration and patient registration. Obviously now they can do a renewal. The states are notified that it is a renewal and it will stay at the top of the queue. There's nothing to indicate for you that the person coming in, whether it be a caregiver or, well, the patient being a caregiver or another caregiver, there's nothing to indicate to you that it is a renewal. And there is one last thing I'd like to show you. And I was talking to Sheila earlier. We may open this up and show you the patients that reside within your respective districts. It will show you how many caregiver cards you've given out over a time frame. Right now it's statewide. I'll show you what it will look like. So this here shows the last 6 months of new physicians coming on board, patients that have registered, and this shows you cards that have been cancelled. And this spike here, that would have been quarterly report period. So a doctor's not filling in a quarterly report because the patient didn't present. And these are other statistics regarding active physicians over the entire period of the THC program. This will be over range. And here you can see these are all the conditions, and I think it was this one here, mitochondrial. That's creeping up. Oh, Crohn's is certainly creeping up. That was a new one, I believe. So we're already 162. And then we split it out by age group, race. So that's something I'm going to work with Sheila, and we'll open it up for but it'll be just your district. And the other piece, what we could also do is show you or build a quick report, which would be something like this. Actually, sorry, it's not that one. It will be this audit. So this will show you all the card numbers you've given out over a time frame and the caregiver's name. And we can include the date it was printed to the day that you actually handed it over. So we'll certainly build that in. That's pretty much all that's new with THC. Is there any questions?
Well, when I was first in the program, one thing that I faced and didn't have knowledge about was when I first went in, when I delivered a card, the name of the caregiver was on my front screen. So I sent Mercedes an email like, that person is not in the system, but what happened is that it's so many, so all of their names aren't going to come up on the first screen, so I have to end up typing the last name or the first name, and then that person's information come up, and then I can basically mark that card as.
Okay, yeah.
That was ignorance on my part, because I was looking for it to be right there.
Right. If you have access to a scanner or you put in a card number, let me show you. Oh, sorry, not a scanner, a barcode reader. So this is your screen here. If you put in the number of the card that's on the back in here and search, that will come up. Or if you scanned it, the number just drops in there. But yeah, there's nothing we can do. You're talking about these pages here, presumably.
That was okay. It was just that I didn't know.
Right,
right. It was just because when we first started out, everybody's name that was in my account was there. And I'm like, well, I don't see these names.
Yeah, I think we show, it looks like about 20 at a time.
Right.
The other names on the list were cards that have been sent to the CAF, but the individuals had not come in to pick them up yet. They were all still there. Is that what?
No,
or are you saying all the cards in total that the CAF issued?
You know,
the ones that had not been picked up, or all of the ones that had
the ones that had not been picked up
okay.
was on the front screen, but when we first started out, no matter what name, it was on my front screen, because we didn't have enough.
All of the
right, they're not going to appear on there. So what I had to do was just, now we have barcodes, but what I had to do is type in the first name or the last name, but I ended up calling Mercedes saying, I don't see these names, but they're in there. They're in there. It was, it was one of the technical challenges I had, but I had
So
to
all the
figure it out.
cards printed by the state are on one list, and so when you get a card, you have to go into the total state list to find your one person or one card, so that you can check
Mark
that
it
it has been
up.
picked up.
Yes, ma'am.
I think with the barcode now, it's gonna make it easier.
A little bit more easier.
You search and get right to that
Once
one.
you put that barcode in there, or put that number in there, boom,
It's gonna pop right up.
Yes.
Mhm.
Belinda, you had, addressed to me about the facilities that you have, and that you would talk to Alex pertaining to that, about those two coming up on your end for harvest pickup.
Okay. I have cards that are duplicating in the system. I've received, in the system, there were 4 names, and 2 of the names had a middle initial. They were the same people. 2 of the names had a middle initial, but then the next set of names did not. And I received the cards that had the ones with the middle initial for the person to pick up,
Right.
but I didn't receive the other ones. What do I need to do to have those 2 that I don't need that are there removed? Because they're just duplicates.
Yeah, the system wouldn't print a middle initial on its own. So it's definitely a duplicate. The uniqueness is the middle initial. If you haven't received the other cards, they must have been deleted from the state side. Do you know the last name?
Hayes.
Okay. I'll have to write that down and research it, but we know exactly what happens to a card from where it was initiated by the physician all the way through to it being picked up and the whole renewal process. So we could see every step of the way what happened to that card.
Well, and I have another one in my system that, when I received the card, and made the phone call, I was told that this person no longer wanted his card, that they had named another person as caregiver, so that card was going to be canceled, and another caregiver's card was coming out. I never received that card, but that caregiver's listed in my system too. And me and Mercedes and your constable both, I think, have talked about this one because I don't know what to do with it. So I have 3 that I don't have cards for, but they're in the system.
Okay, I'll get with you and get these names and we'll research it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, right on schedule. Okay, question and answer session. Again, because we want to make sure that when you guys leave here, any questions that you may have, we have answered that question for you to the fullest of our ability. Okay? So when you leave here, you don't have any doubt about this program, how to issue cards, how to work the system. So this is your time now. Okay? If you have any questions, there is no question, trust me. Okay? You may be thinking it, and that same person across from the table is thinking the same question. Yes, ma'am. No.
Our county's not on the fee module yet,
Mm-hmm.
and my question is that when the client comes in to get the cancel card, when we use the fee module, is there it has birth certificate, death certificate, amendment, is there one there for that too?
No, we ran into that problem over here. And now what we do is we record our money in the SINS program, the old program, SINS. So that's what we ended up having to do because it was actually throwing the numbers off because we were recording it under death. And it was recording or throwing the death report numbers off at the end of the month, every month. So, and it was going to cost, I think it was $6,000 or something like that for the other button. for Genesis on the fee and issuance model.
So do you all collect money for other things though, right, in your counties, most of the time? And so you can use other or miscellaneous. I know you're using fee for birth certificates and death certificates, but if you have another system you're working on, or if you're issuing other kinds of documents or licenses, or have other activities in your counties, you can choose other or miscellaneous or whatever you have available. Remember, the money that you collect for this program stays in your county.
Okay. The reason we're asking is we're currently on VHN, and the person who has access to the codes and the names of those codes, they have one set up specifically for that one. That's fine.
Yeah.
So you can keep
That's
that.
great.
You can keep that.
That's good.
Whatever you have in your own
You do?
county, you know.
That's great.
If it works for you, it's fine with us.
Yeah. Because we had to do some work around us there, excuse me, in order for us to collect the money because of that, that not being an option for us in the actual fee and issuance system.
If you're having problems, trying to figure it out, let us help you individually, but collectively, we will say that, use an other or miscellaneous, or if you text some other category or name it in your county.
Would it be better for us to use that or something else?
It's totally up to you. Totally up to you. The main thing is the money you collect from the program stays on your account. So how you account for it is going to be up to you.
Yep, sounds good. Any other questions? All right, you guys ready for a tour?
Yes.
Yeah. See the building? And those 20,000 million records we got.
Did you want these papers?
Yes, what I would like for you to do, and I want to also thank the folks that are on the actual call. I'm not sure whether any of you had any questions, but if you do have any questions, feel free to either email myself, Acosta, or Mercedes with any questions that you may have. We did get your actual packets out to you. I want to collect up the register profile sheets so that we can update the actual contact list. And once I get the contact list updated, I will actually send out an email to all of you guys with that. And you guys talk amongst each other if you got questions about this program as well. Yes,
My
ma'am.
address is wrong.
Okay, that's why I'm going to collect that sheet from you, and we're going to get that address corrected on it. Okay, put your address in the bottom. Okay, if your address is wrong on the sheet, you just write it in at the bottom of the registrar's profile sheet so that we can actually get that corrected, and I will get that email out to you guys on Monday morning. Yes, ma'am.
For those who are listening in, if they can scan them and email them to us.
Okay. All right. The ones that are on the call, if you can actually scan in your actual register profile sheet and send it to either Mercedes or your